Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, trying to get comfortable only to feel a dull ache radiating up your spine? It might start as a subtle stiffness or a deep twinge, but by morning you're moving slower than you'd like, maybe even wishing for just a few more hours of rest so your back can loosen up. I vividly recall visiting my Aunt Marianne some years ago. At the time, she was 79 and fiercely independent, living in a cozy little home in a quiet neighborhood. She prided herself on being able to do everything by herself, her groceries, her cooking, her gardening. But each morning I'd see her struggle to straighten her back. She'd rest her hands on her kitchen table, wincing, fighting to stretch out the tension that had set in overnight. She never made a big deal of it, saying, "I just need to get these bones moving." Yet I remember thinking, how many seniors quietly endure the same struggle each day? It turns out that for countless people over 65, there's a hidden culprit aggravating spinal problems. And it often happens during those precious hours of supposed rest. When you're sleeping, your body is meant to repair, regenerate, and heal. But if you're following certain bedtime habits, you could be doing the exact opposite, adding stress to your spine, compressing important areas of your back, and unknowingly fueling long-term damage. If left unaddressed, the consequences can become alarmingly serious. Chronic pain that makes you dread getting out of bed, decreased mobility that robs you of the simple joy of walking or gardening, and even nerve issues that affect your balance or grip strength. The thought of losing the independence you've cherished for decades is scary, isn't it? Possibly having to rely on family or home aides for day-to-day tasks can be a sobering vision of the future. So many of us take our mobility for granted until it's compromised. And believe me, the pain isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional too. Feeling like you can't do the things you once did, like lifting that heavy casserole from the oven or picking up a beloved grandchild, can weigh heavily on your sense of self-worth and dignity. That's why this is so important. Your spine is your body's central pillar, literally holding you up and protecting the nerve pathways that power every movement you make. Tonight, we're going to dive into 5 crucial points that reveal how a common nighttime habit is slowly destroying seniors' spines after 65. And more importantly, we'll explore how to turn this around. I promise that by the end of our time together, you'll understand exactly which mistakes to avoid and the practical steps you can take to protect and even strengthen your back as you age. You'll also discover a few surprising truths along the way, simple yet counterintuitive changes that could mean the difference between waking up in pain and waking up ready to embrace the day. Trust me, you don't want to miss the last point because it's something almost no one talks about, yet it has the potential to relieve the hidden tension that could be undermining everything else you do for spine health. We're about to draw upon the emerging research that forward-thinking specialists are starting to highlight. Think of this as a conversation backed by that growing body of knowledge, as well as stories from real seniors who've made these changes and seen remarkable results. So if you're concerned about preserving your independence and want to protect your spine for the long haul, stay with me. It's time to address the nighttime habit that may be wrecking your back, and more importantly, learn how to safeguard yourself against it. Before we delve deeper, I'd love for you to subscribe and turn on your notifications if you haven't yet. That way, you'll never miss any of our in-depth discussions on senior health, vitality, and independence. And if you find this video informative, do me a small favor. Type A1 in the comments section. If for some reason you feel this isn't what you're looking for, type 0 to let me know how I can improve and bring you more relevant insights. Now let's look into the first crucial step that can help protect your spine from nightly damage. Because once you see what's really happening, you'll understand why a few simple shifts can mean everything to your comfort and mobility. The first big point might sound a bit controversial, but it's important to address it head-on. Many people believe the standard mattress they've slept on for years is just fine, even if their back feels stiff when they wake up. In reality, your sleeping surface could be quietly undermining your spinal health every single night. It's typical to assume that if you fall asleep easily, your bed is serving its purpose. But take a moment to think about what happens when you lie down. Your spine maintains a series of natural curves at the neck, mid-back, and lower back, and each curve needs adequate support. A common misconception is that a softer mattress is inherently better for older adults because it feels more comfortable at first. Some seniors assume that sinking into a plush bed means less pressure on the joints. But consider the story of Thomas, age 75, who swore by his ultra-soft mattress for over a decade. He found it soothing on his aching hips, at least initially. Over time, though, his lower spine started curving unnaturally during the night, causing compression in the discs and nerves. Upon waking, he felt an intense tightness around his lower back and an uncomfortable tingling that sometimes traveled down his legs. He dismissed it as just part of getting older until the day he couldn't bend to tie his shoes without wincing. That was his wake-up call. The surprising truth is that the right level of firmness matters more than you might imagine. If your mattress is too soft or too worn down, it fails to align your spine properly, causing minor misalignments that add up over time. On the other hand, a mattress that's too firm can also strain delicate areas if it doesn't offer enough give. The key is balance. Adequate support that keeps your spine in its natural alignment while gently contouring to your body's pressure points. Think of it as a supportive parent, firm yet caring, offering just enough structure without being overly rigid. So what can you do about it? First, if your mattress is more than 8 or 10 years old, consider testing out a new one, designed specifically for spinal alignment. Many companies now offer medium firm or zoned mattresses that cater to different sections of the body. Secondly, experiment with simple accessories like a lumbar support cushion placed under your lower back, or even a pillow between your knees if you're a side sleeper. These small adjustments help maintain the spine's curves. Finally, if you're not ready to purchase a new mattress, invest in a supportive topper. It's a quick fix that can significantly enhance your comfort. The emotional payoff in getting this right is huge. Imagine waking up feeling less stiffness and more mobility, ready to tackle small but important tasks like cooking breakfast or walking to the mailbox without that nagging tightness telling you to slow down. Even better, picture yourself a few years from now with fewer back-related worries, still able to enjoy the hobbies and activities you love. That's the promise of paying attention to mattress quality and spine alignment. Now for something else that might catch you off guard. There's a nightly habit many of us have that we think is harmless, but it's actually one of the biggest contributors to ongoing spinal discomfort: excessive late-night TV or phone use while in bed. The accepted wisdom is that watching TV in bed helps you relax. But let's be honest, we're often craning our necks forward, or we're half propped up against a pillow that's flattening under our weight, twisting our backs into awkward angles. The misconception here is thinking, if I'm relaxed, my spine must be relaxed too. But let me share Margaret's story to show you why this isn't always the case. At 78, Margaret lived alone and loved to wind down each evening by lying in bed with her tablet, catching up on her favorite shows. She'd position herself on her side, sometimes with her neck craned to see the screen. Over the months, she began noticing a consistent tightness at the base of her neck and between her shoulder blades. She chalked it up to stress, but the pain worsened to the point that turning her head while driving became challenging. When she finally sought help, a physical therapist showed her how slouching or twisting in bed for long periods strained the muscles around her spine, pulling them out of their neutral alignment. The surprising truth here, relaxed mind doesn't always mean relaxed spine. Anytime you hold your neck and back in a suboptimal position, especially for longer than 20 minutes, you risk cumulative strain on the muscles and discs in your upper and mid-spine. It's like holding your arm out in front of you for a long time. It might feel okay initially, but the longer you keep it there, the more fatigue and discomfort you build up. If you enjoy bedtime TV or browsing, consider sitting upright with proper back support, like a pillow behind your lower back and a neck roll behind your cervical spine. Alternatively, watch from a comfortable recliner before transferring to bed, or give yourself a strict cutoff, 10 or 15 minutes of screen time while lying down, then lights out. Even tilting your device or TV so you don't have to bend your neck forward can make a dramatic difference. If you find yourself drifting off to sleep mid-show, that's your body's signal that it's time to power down the electronics and let your spine relax in a neutral position. Your back will thank you by providing you with fewer morning aches, and you'll likely notice less tension in your shoulders and neck throughout the day. This small change can yield a huge return on comfort, especially if you're someone who loves a bit of nighttime entertainment. If you're still with me and these insights are hitting home, drop a 2 in the comments so I know you're following along. And don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time to do it. Your support helps us continue to bring crucial, life-changing content to more seniors who need it. Let's move on to another big piece of this puzzle: the hidden cost of sleeping in the same position all night long. We've been told, find a comfy position and stick with it. But here's the twist: staying motionless can actually contribute to stiffness, pinched nerves, and chronic pain. Most of us assume that if something feels comfortable initially, it will stay that way through the night. But the body's natural inclination is to shift slightly every so often, thereby redistributing pressure and giving muscles and joints a break. Take Roger, age 82, who swore by sleeping on his left side, curled up slightly. He found it cozy and saw no need to change. But as months passed, Roger started to notice more intense pain around his left hip and numbness in his left arm in the mornings. Turns out he was compressing nerves, restricting blood flow, and keeping his spine twisted at a subtle angle for hours at a time. Because his body had adapted to this pattern, he rarely shifted positions during the night, and the damage built up slowly. The unexpected truth is that periodic movement is vital for your spine's health. You don't need to be constantly tossing and turning, but you do want to ease into a new position every few hours, especially if you wake up momentarily in the night. Think of it as dynamic rest. You're sleeping, but you're not locking your spine into one angle for too long. In the same way that sitting at a desk without changing positions leads to stiffness, lying down motionless can have a similar effect. So what's the best approach? First, tune into your body. If you sense any discomfort or tingling in a shoulder, hip, or lower back, gently shift. Also, consider using a body pillow for extra support. It can help keep your spine more aligned when you do shift positions, particularly if you're a side sleeper. You might also set an intention before going to sleep. Remind yourself it's okay to adjust if you feel any tension. That small mindset shift alone can make you more likely to switch positions during light sleep phases. Over time, you'll notice you naturally move to relieve pressure without fully waking. The payoff is a healthier, more flexible spine. You'll likely see less stiffness in your hips and shoulders and enjoy more balanced muscle activity, which can reduce that locked-up feeling first thing in the morning. And the best part? You're not giving up your favorite sleeping posture entirely. You're simply allowing your body to reset once in a while. This means you'll not only protect your spine, but also maintain comfort throughout the night. Our next step is all about what might be the most overlooked aspect of bedtime routines: how and when you hydrate. There's a persistent myth that drinking water before bed is a bad idea because you'll have to get up to use the restroom. Many seniors cut down fluid intake after dinner for fear of sleep disruptions. It seems logical. Less water in, fewer bathroom trips. But ironically, this habit can wreak havoc on your spinal health. Meet Helen, 74, who had been advised by well-meaning friends to avoid drinking anything after 7 p.m. to prevent nighttime bathroom visits. Over the years, Helen found that not only was she waking up stiff, but her lower back pain was getting progressively worse. She tried different mattresses, pillow configurations, and even medication, all with limited success. A consultation with a nutrition-focused specialist finally shed light on the problem. By cutting out water in the evening, Helen's discs, those gel-like cushions between the vertebrae, weren't getting enough hydration. Each night, the discs lost some of their moisture, which is normal, but they weren't getting replenished, leaving them more prone to compression and stiffness. The startling reality is that your spinal discs rely on proper fluid levels for cushioning. Dehydration can lead to brittle, less resilient discs, increasing your risk of back pain and potential disc problems. So yes, you might avoid 1 or 2 trips to the bathroom by not drinking water, but you could be setting yourself up for a much bigger issue with your spine. A balanced approach might be to stop drinking large amounts of water an hour before bed, but still have a modest amount in the evening to keep your body, including your discs, adequately hydrated. If getting up in the middle of the night is truly a concern, consider scheduling your hydration earlier in the day so you're not playing catch-up after dinner. And if you do need that late-night glass of water, keep it small, just enough to quench your thirst and maintain some hydration. Over time, you may find that this conscious water intake approach not only protects your spine, but also improves your overall energy levels. Proper hydration is crucial for so many bodily functions, from digestion to joint lubrication. By making hydration part of your daily discipline, you can substantially reduce the chances of disc-related discomfort. And that means waking up feeling more limber, less achy, and more confident in your body's resilience, allowing you to do the things you love without that constant worry about a strained back spoiling your plans. If you're still tuned in, finding these points enlightening, drop a 4 in the comments. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't miss out on future tips that can help transform your health and well-being. Your engagement not only supports our channel, but also helps more people discover life-changing advice. We've come to our 5th and final point, and it's one that surprises nearly everyone. The act of bracing yourself as you lay down and get up from bed can add more strain to your spine than you might think. Most of us, especially if we've had any back pain, tend to tense our back and core muscles when transitioning to or from a lying position. We think we're protecting ourselves, but ironically, that abrupt tensing and twisting can compress the lumbar region and strain the supporting muscles. Picture Henry, age 77, who meticulously avoided any sudden movements because he was afraid of pulling a muscle in his back. Each night, he'd gingerly lower himself onto the bed in a rigid, almost robotic motion. In the morning, he'd reverse the process, tighten his abs, hold his breath, and roll to one side, then push himself up. Over time, this rigid approach created constant microstrains. His lower back felt locked, and he found it increasingly painful to move freely. It wasn't until a friend observed how stiffly he was maneuvering that he realized his method was doing more harm than good. The surprising insight here is that fluid, gentle movements actually support the spine better than tense, abrupt ones. Think of your spine as a series of joints that rely on smooth transitions to stay aligned and avoid jarring impacts. When getting into bed, it's best to sit down slowly, use your arms for support, and ease your upper body sideways onto the mattress. Then draw your knees up carefully. In the morning, reverse the process with a smooth roll to the side, letting your arms bear some of the weight as you swing your legs over the edge of the bed. A practical way to train yourself in these movements is to practice mindful breathing. Inhale as you begin your transition, and exhale as you lower or lift your body, focusing on moving with control rather than force. If you feel the urge to brace or clench your back muscles, pause, exhale, and allow your body to release that tension. By doing so, you'll be harnessing the natural fluidity of your joints and muscles, reducing wear and tear on your spinal discs. This simple shift in how you move can feel transformative. Imagine waking up and sitting up without that stab of pain or that fearful hesitation that your back might give out. The confidence that comes from knowing how to move gently and effectively can carry over into daily life, whether it's bending to pick something up or getting in and out of a car. Now that you've heard all 5 points, take a moment to reflect. Can you picture how each of these small, conscious adjustments might change the way your spine feels day after day? You have the power to protect your back from the creeping damage that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. Better still, you're taking steps not only to eliminate pain, but also to preserve your freedom. Freedom to move without fear, to enjoy activities without worrying that each step or twist might bring discomfort, and to wake up with the sense that your body is still on your side. Let's recap everything we've covered and see how these 5 crucial points tie together. Think back to our conversation about mattresses. It isn't enough for a bed to feel soft or familiar. It must support the natural curves of your spine. Next, we tackled the phenomenon of screen time in bed, how it can contort your spine in unhealthy ways if you're not mindful. We explored the importance of shifting positions, ensuring you don't lock your spine into a single stance all night. Then came hydration, which isn't just about quenching thirst, but about maintaining the moisture levels your discs need for cushioning. Finally, we looked at those transition movements, going to bed and getting out of bed, and how doing them too rigidly can build hidden tension. These 5 points share a common theme. They're all about alignment and gentle care. When implemented together, they can significantly reduce or even reverse the negative impact of a harmful nighttime habit. The urgent reality is that small mistakes, repeated every single night, can accumulate into debilitating issues over time. But by taking action now, tonight even, you're giving your spine a chance to heal and maintain its resilience. Which of these 5 points resonated most strongly with you? Was it the realization that your beloved mattress might not be as spine-friendly as you hoped? Or did you identify more with the issue of spending too much time sprawled out in bed watching TV, thinking relaxation for your mind automatically meant relaxation for your back? Maybe you discovered the importance of hydrating properly, or recognized that you've been locking in your position all night. Or perhaps you're rethinking how you transition in and out of bed every day. Take a moment to consider the specific routines you can shift. Envision your evening routine and your morning routine tweaked just enough to give your spine that much needed relief. It might help to start small. For instance, commit to a 2-week experiment. Adjust just one of these habits, like adding a pillow between your knees if you're a side sleeper, or taking a short sip of water before bed, and see if you notice a difference in your morning stiffness. Sometimes experiencing just a little improvement can be all the motivation you need to try the other changes. I encourage you to see yourself 6 months from now, waking up with less tightness, going through your day with greater ease, and savoring the activities that bring you joy. Whether it's tending the garden, cooking for loved ones, or simply taking a brisk walk without feeling weighed down by pain. This isn't an unrealistic dream. It's a genuine possibility when you consistently look after your spine. As we bring this discussion to a close, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Please share one thing you learned today and how you plan to put it into action. Will you change your mattress or invest in a supportive topper? Will you finally give yourself permission to move around at night or cut back on bedtime screen time? Your insights and feedback not only reinforce your own commitment, but also inspire countless others who might be on the fence about making these adjustments. If you found value in today's exploration of how to protect your spine from harmful nighttime habits, please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel and consider sharing this video with someone who might benefit, be it a friend, a parent, or a senior community group. The more we spread awareness, the stronger our collective ability to maintain health and independence. Finally, remember, you have the power to change your nighttime routine, protect your spine, and wake up each morning with more comfort, flexibility, and confidence. You're not at the mercy of age, you're at the wheel steering your health in a better direction. Thank you for spending this time with me. Here's to your spine's well-being and to the countless mornings you'll wake up feeling grateful for the choices you make tonight.